There are many backup quarterbacks that leave fans wondering, how are you still in the NFL? But there is one that has everybody confused why he's still in the league. And his name is Tim Boyle. And today, I will tell you why he is still an NFL quarterback in 2024. Tim Boyle was the 56th ranked quarterback, 873rd ranked player in the 2013 high school class coming out of Xavier High School in Middletown, Connecticut. He had 4 offers coming out of school as a 3-star pro-style quarterback. He eventually committed to and decommitted from Boston College and went to his hometown school, the University of Connecticut. At UConn, Tim would play in 5 games his freshman year, attempting 133 passes for 621 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. Seemed like he was going to be the quarterback of the future for the Huskies. His sophomore year, he played even less, attempting 82 passes for 335 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. And his junior year, he played even less than that, only attempting 60 passes for 281 yards and 2 touchdowns. After this amazing 3-year stretch at UConn, Tim would finish with a 48.4 completion percentage, 1,237 yards, 1 touchdown, and 13 interceptions. Yeah, you heard me right, 1 touchdown and 13 interceptions. After realizing that UConn might not be the best fit for him, he transferred to the FCS with the Eastern Kentucky Colonels for his 4th and final season of college football, where he would redshirt in that 2016 season and start 11 games in 2017 for the Colonels. Through those 11 games, Tim Boyle would throw for 2,134 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions, remarkably better than his whole career at UConn. After getting his degree and refusing to go into sales, Tim would enter the 2018 NFL Draft. He would have a pre-draft visit with the Green Bay Packers. After going undrafted, he would sign with them. Believe it or not, Tim would impress the coaching staff in the 2018 preseason, throwing 3 touchdowns in the 3 games he appeared in, and earned himself a spot on the 53-man roster. For the next 3 years, he would find himself as a backup for Aaron Rodgers, learning from him and head coach Matt LaFleur, who was hired in his 2nd season in the NFL. He would only attempt 4 total regular season passes for the team, but would impress behind the scenes. After those 3 seasons, he would sign with the division rival Detroit Lions to be their backup in 2021. Jared Goff suffered a couple of injuries that season, leading Tim to start 3 games for Detroit against the Browns, Falcons, and Seahawks, and it went exactly as you would expect. 0-3 with 3 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. My friends, you would be stupid not to play higher on Tim Boyle's interceptions every Sunday that he steps out on the football field, and what better place to do it than on Underdog. Underdog is the best and easiest place to play fantasy sports. All you have to do is pick between 2 to 8 players, higher than their projections, and bam, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. If you sign up with code FANATICS, you get a deposit match up to $1,000 and a free higher than 0.5 pick, like Tim Boyle to throw for a yard. They have promos every day like profit boosts, discounted picks, and all of that. You can get all of this when you sign up with my code FANATICS. After this lone 2021 in Detroit, Tim would bounce around the league. In 2022, he went to the Chicago Bears. I guess he just loves the NFC North, where he would throw 8 total passes and throw 2 interceptions. Then in 2023, he signed with the Jets, joining back up with mentor Aaron Rodgers, who taught him everything he knows. In New York, he took over for benched Zach Wilson in 3 games, starting 2 of them. In those 2 starts, he threw 1 touchdown to 4 interceptions, and one of those interceptions was one of the craziest plays I've seen. It was an end-of-half Hail Mary against the Dolphins, and this was the result.
Can you believe this? That is insanity.
Yeah, a 99-yard pick 6 to end the half. The Jets would go on to lose that game 34-13, by the way. After the season, he would not re-sign with the Jets and would leave his good friend Rodgers for the 2nd time in his career. Boyle actually would sign with the Texans, but after the preseason in late August, he was cut and found himself on the Miami Dolphins practice squad 2 days later. Throughout the year, he would stay on the practice squad up until Tua Tagovailoa's concussion, where he would be signed to the active roster to be the emergency quarterback to Skylar Thompson and Tyler Huntley. In that Week 3 game at Seattle, he would have to come in as Thompson suffered a chest injury in the 3rd quarter, and Boyle would complete 7 of 13 passes for 79 yards, no touchdowns, and no turnovers. Honestly, that's the best you can expect from Boyle. After this, he would back up Tyler Snoop, somehow 2022 Pro Bowler, Huntley, for the next 3 games, but also fluctuated between the practice squad and active roster during that time. However, the Week 7 showdown between the Anthony Richardson-led Colts and the Tyler Huntley Dolphins, he'd find some action after Snoop hurt his shoulder. Timmy went 8 of 13 for 74 yards, and again, no touchdowns and no turnovers. I promise you, he is really trying his best out there. Finally, on October 26th, he was cut for the last time by the Dolphins and signed with the New York Giants on November 19th. Close enough to his buddy on the Jets, I guess. He again would bounce around between being cut, the practice squad, and the active roster between games, but would find himself on the active roster on December 15th against the Baltimore Ravens, where Tommy DeVito would start and get concussed in the first half, and Boyle would take over from there. In this 35-14 loss, Boyle put on a show, throwing for 123 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. That touchdown was honestly a pearl to Malik Neighbors, and was fitting that was the G-Men's first passing touchdown since November 3rd against the Commanders. But the interception he threw was also god-awful. Into double, nearly triple coverage. Just an easy play to make for the defense. He now has people saying that he should start for the team, at least for this upcoming week. After all this, you may be wondering, how does this man still have a job? I know I'm wondering how he has had this many jobs since graduating college, and I cannot get one. Well, it's more complex than me being unhireable and him being bad at football. While he is terrible, he's a very smart guy. One of the roles as a backup quarterback is to be a clipboard savant, know all the X's and O's. That's how guys like Chase Daniels, Mark Sanchez, and Kellen Moore extend their careers, and in the case of Moore, is now an offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. They knew the playbooks of their teams, as well as the others they played on, and helped the star to prepare each week, played the scout team quarterback to a T, and overall were just geniuses to have in the quarterback and film rooms. Teams pay guys like this every season to keep them in their QB room rather than others, as they overall help the team on a day-to-day basis. While they do not have the physical profile and skill set to be an NFL quarterback, they have the brains. When it comes to practice, they're one of the most important people on their roster or practice squad. Aaron Rodgers actually told a story on the Pat McAfee show about their first year with Matt LaFleur, and he had a quiz for the quarterbacks. Rodgers was just guessing his answers, but Boyle was a different story.
I don't know what the hell, I was just kind of guessing up there, and it was like one of those tests that we have on our iPad, and Tim got 100%. And I was like, what the hell have you been doing? He said, study it. So Tim's always been an expert of the offense and understood, all the little intricacies.
The moral of the story is that although Tim Boyle is not physically gifted, he's a great football mind that could potentially someday make a great coach at some level. Having people like Tim on an NFL roster is invaluable, and while you don't want him playing on Sunday, you want him there Monday through Friday, helping your starting quarterback with the offensive scheme, because he knows everything there is to know about football and its X's and O's. A brilliant mind, but Tim Boyle is still swindling the NFL and its front offices, despite his physical limitations.